going everyone, and welcome back to the Enclave. Quick and simple, we are still here sitting going through our legal theory book. We are now on to chapter 10. As I've said in my previous videos, please bear with me. Looking off to the right, I am just checking for a courier on my camera system. So yeah, please just bear with me. Looking off to the side there to make sure they haven't come and gone. So, moving on to chapter 10. This is going to be the control of ammunition and firearm parts. I am just going to say up front, firearm parts in this section refer to a slide, a bolt, breech block. That is it. It's quite simple. It is basically the actions of firearms. That is just something I wanted to put out there to begin with. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. We don't have to cover it later on. So, you may not be in possession of ammunition unless you have a permit to be in possession of ammunition. You may not be in possession, and it actually, I don't know if it says it here, because to be honest, I haven't seen it. You're not allowed to be in possession of powder if you are not in possession of a license for reloading purposes. It does cover primers. There are a couple things that you are actually allowed to own without needing a license. Reloading equipment, you are actually allowed to own that. There's no law against you buying reloading dies, reloading presses, scales, all those sort of things. Those are not restricted items. You can even buy the bullets, the tips, the actual projectile that leaves the barrel. You can purchase those as well. The problem is that you're not going to be able to include powder, and you're not going to be able to include primers into your projectile, which obviously then doesn't make it a bullet, it just makes it a little display item. A nice little piece of bronze, lead and copper most likely. So that is pretty much that. Okay, let's see. So let's get into restrictions, because I've just told you you're not allowed to own completed cartridges if you do not have a license. If you do have a license for self-defense under the section 13, you are limited to 200 cartridges for your weapon. So you are either allowed a pump action shotgun, or you're allowed a semi-automatic handgun, and you are only allowed 200 either shotgun shells or 200 rounds of ammunition for your handgun. Unless, and I'm only going to say this once, this whole page does not apply to dedicated sports shooters or dedicated hunters. So yeah, once you get your dedicated sports shooter status and your license for that, you can then own as many rounds of ammunition as you see fit. You can own as many primers, as many bottles of powder as you see fit, as long as they are stored legally. I am not allowed to fill this room with primers and powder and completed bullets and etc, etc, etc. They need to be in either a lock room or strong room or a safe. Which is why, once again, I say I'm probably going to end up with about 50 safes on my property. Because yeah, when I get into the reloading, I'm really going to get into it. I enjoy manufacturing things, as you guys can see by the 3D printer next to me. I love making things. I love DIYing. If I see a simple product or a simple structure or a simple unit of something, whatever, the first thing I'm going to do is see if I can do it myself. If I can do it myself and it works out to be cost effective and time effective, it's going to take me 6 years to do it myself, and I can buy the thing and have it tomorrow, obviously I'm going to buy the thing and have it tomorrow. But otherwise, I love DIY. I love doing things myself. So I'm already looking at reloading presses. I've already found some great prices for components. I've even considered purchasing those things already. The things that I listed to you were not illegal to own. That's how I know they're not illegal to own, is because I've made damn sure that if I wake up tomorrow and want to go and buy these things, I'm allowed to. Like I say, I won't be allowed to buy primers or powder yet, but I will absolutely be allowed to set up my press and hell, clean brass. I can go around and pick up brass at different ranges I go shoot at. There's no limitation on brass. So yeah, I could do quite a few things in the meanwhile if I really solve it. Anyways, let's carry on. We're getting onto a little bit of a tangent. So 200 cartridges, unless you're a dedicated sports shooter or hunter. Loading or reloading of ammunition. Nice little segue, worked out quite well. No person may manufacture any firearm or ammunition without a manufacturer's license. Unless it does not apply to the loading of ammunition by the holder of a license. So, if you have a 9mm Glock 17, Glock 19, whatever. I should stop talking about Glocks. If you have a Canik TP9 Elite Combat chambered in 9x19, lovely gun. Anyway, you are allowed to reload your own ammunition. You are not allowed to reload other people's ammunition. I suppose, who's gonna know if you give your friend a box of bullets? But it's illegal. We're not trying to break the law here, we're trying to follow the law. So you are then allowed to manufacture your own ammunition if you hold a license for that firearm. So if you own a Canik TP9 Elite Combat chambered in 9x19, you're allowed to reload 9x19 ammunition. You are not allowed to reload 45 ACP. You are not allowed to reload 50 AE Desert Eagle. You're not allowed to reload ammunition for that gun if you do not possess a license for that firearm, or you possess a manufacturer's license for ammunition. I intend on getting one of those, just by the way. I do intend on getting one of those so that I am capable of giving out ammunition and or selling ammunition. Once again, these do not apply to dedicated sports shooters or hunters. You may not be in possession of more than 2,400, sorry, let me be accurate, 2,400 primers. So even if you have a Section 13 license, you are allowed to own 2,400 primers, so that you're not just going to the shop every 200 rounds. But bear in mind that under a Section 13 license, you are not allowed to convert those primers into completed cartridges. Because once you've done that, you're in possession of more than 200 rounds of ammunition. So just bear in mind, you're allowed to be in possession of 2,400 components, but you are not allowed to be in possession of 2,400 completed cartridges under the Section 13 license. Prohibition of firearm parts. So this once again has to do along the same lines as the ammunition. You are not allowed to own a slide, a barrel, a trigger assembly, etc., etc., etc. for a firearm that you do not possess. It will be considered an illegal firearm part. So I am not allowed to buy an AR-15 barrel or an AR-15 receiver without a license for it. Once I have a license for that firearm, I am allowed to purchase additional barrels. I am allowed to purchase additional receivers, things like that. Obviously within reason, within regulation. So that is just pretty much the limitation on those parts. Like I said in the beginning, firearm part for this section retains slide, bolt, breech block, that is it. So pretty much the working pieces of your firearm. You're not allowed to own that. Once again, I'm not allowed to have 50 Desert Eagle firearm components sitting around my 9mm licensed Canik. I'm not allowed to do it. So that is pretty much that. There are no limitations. I mean, there are no sorry, my brain just blanked. There are no ways to get around that. You need to have a dealer's permit. And even then, don't just think you're going to get a dealer's permit and all of a sudden have 600 guns. You are not allowed to use a firearm that is licensed under a dealer permit. You are not allowed to customize, blah, 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 blah. You're not allowed to do anything to that firearm. It is to be kept in a safe until the permit is transferred to another individual. So I read a huge forum the other day about people going on, oh, I'm just going to get a dealer permit, then I'm going to have 1,000 firearms. Until the person comes back and says, well, actually, I am a dealer, and here are the 200 restrictions that I have on my 1,000 firearms. You're not allowed to shoot them. You're not allowed to take them home. They're not allowed to leave X premises unless the license has been transferred to a person, then they may take the firearm off the premises. So yeah, don't believe that you're gonna own unlimited firearms by becoming a dealer. You're better off actually taking part in sport, becoming a competitive sport shooter, dedicated sport shooter. That way is a little bit easier to get to 6 different ARs and 6 different this and 6 different handguns and all these sort of crazy things. So that is pretty much that. We are complete with chapter 10. Next up is going to be chapter 12. There is no chapter 11. And yeah, once again, thank you so much for watching. If there are any questions, if you'd like me to go deeper into certain things, I am happy to do that. I just, like I say, I'm so bored of these books. Not these books, just this book. I'm done with this book. I never need to use this book again. So as soon as I'm done with it, I'm gonna give it a nice kiss goodnight and I'm gonna put it away in the cupboard because I'm so tired of having it out. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out the annotations on the end here to find another video if you've still got time. And as always, peace out.